So my name is Henrik, and I'm working for the city of Vekšes, and I will show you a presentation, so you will see that instead of me. Let's see. And like that, I hope. So, this is from the city center of Vekšes in Sweden, and just so that you get an idea of where we are, Vekšes is in the most southern part of Sweden, very central in southern Sweden, nearly 100,000 inhabitants in the municipality. We are a municipality which is, we have a quite big town city, but we also have a lot of rural areas, which means that when it comes to city planning and everything about planning our municipality, we have the challenges and opportunities of being a city, but also being having a big countryside. We have nearly 10,000 companies, very many small companies then. We have a university since a long time ago, and traditionally, historically, we have been a center of trade. Vekšes actually means the place where the roads meet the lakes. So this has been where everyone has connected to each other. I'm here to talk a bit about our climate work and how we integrate that in our daily life, our city planning, and our goals, and so on. And I'm actually going to start why I think we have been quite successful when it comes to environmental work, but specifically climate work. The main thing I would say is that we have a political commitment towards this. Since the beginning of the 90s, the politicians, the different political parties have all agreed that environmental aspects and climate aspects are important for Vekšes, which also means that it doesn't matter who is in the majority, because they have already agreed that this is important. They may have different views on how to achieve results, but the importance is still there. Of course, there is an importance of specific persons among the politicians that are more committed than the others, but it spills over to the rest of the political parties. And since they can agree that this is important, it also means that they dare to set long-term goals and which last longer than election periods, and that helps us to have a better strategic work and work together with various stakeholders in the municipality. We are able to track the results to see how it goes, and if you also see good results, it generates some kind of pride amongst the politicians, and they want to continue even further with their climate work. It's also very good to have a cooperation, because you cannot do this on your own. We as a city can do a lot of things, but we need to work together with the companies and the citizens and various organizations. And we work a lot with other municipalities, both in the region and in the whole Sweden, and also with European municipalities. We are involved in several EU projects and so on. And of course, we have been quite lucky when it comes to receive funding for various investments that we want to do. It can be EU funding, but it can also be national funding. But I would say we wouldn't have received that funding if we didn't have the political commitment and the cooperation among the different stakeholders. So that is the crucial part. Of course, we have been this climate goal that we have. It has been there for a long time, nearly 30 years now. Then we decided unanimously in the city council that Vekšes is going to be a fossil fuel-free city, meaning that we will practically no longer continue contribute to the greenhouse effect from the whole geographical area. So we're not talking about the organization. We're talking about the whole area, all the citizens, all the companies, everything. We didn't know how to get there, what we were going to do, but just having the goal meant that we could start working, and we already had done lots of things before this goal. You will see that. Later, we specified this that we want to achieve this by 2030. We also want to be climate neutral by 2030. But I said that we didn't really start recently. We have been working on environmental aspects for a long, long time. We started actually by restoring the lakes that are in the city center because they were really in a terrible condition. They were green and smelly. And we invested lots of money in this to make sure that we could have a better quality there. And we saw that we had very good results. And seeing that we could do something and get good results if we really work together, that was the start. I would say that then we continue doing this with other parts of the environmental aspects as well. In 1980, Växjö became the first city in Sweden to start using bioenergy for production of heat and power. And when I say bioenergy, I mean rest products from the forest industry. So it's not that we cut down trees to burn them. It's we take the rest products that's not used for building material or so on. The reason was not that we wanted to become more environmental friendly. It was a more of economic and security thing because in the 70s there were oil crises and the price of energy increased a lot, and we didn't want to be dependent on foreign countries on our energy mix. So now we can take all our energy resource from within 70 kilometers from the city, and that is very good in these days, I would say. Talking about energy security much more, you are governing your own energy resources much better than being relying on oil, for instance. The climate goal that we took, it was actually a result of one of the successful cooperations we had. We had a cooperation with the biggest environmental organization in Sweden, and they challenged us to take this decision. So they helped us to educate the politicians and the staff at the municipality before this. And in 2007, we started to call ourselves the greenest city in Europe, and that was because there was a journalist from BBC started to call us that, and then we adopted this slogan, so to say, and filled it with content. So it's not an award we received. It's more like something that we wanted to achieve. But this helped us to work much more together with citizens and companies and so on to move further. So how is it going? Well, the CO2 emissions per capita, if we compare the development during the last 30 years, it means that we have reduced our emissions per capita by 67%. So now we are at the level of 1.5 tons of CO2 per capita in Växjö. In 1993, we had 4.6. And of course, we would have had much higher if we didn't start to make the transition in the energy system already from the beginning of the 80s. You can see it has been steadily decreasing. And what I can say from the last years is that the last 4 years or so, it means that about between 95 and 98% of the remaining emissions comes from the transport sector. And that is our big challenge right now, because we have been successful in the energy sector, but doing something with the transport sector is a challenge. It's a challenge because, as I said, we are urban and a rural municipality, and a lot of this we are not in charge of ourselves. Okay, we can build more cycle paths and invest in public transports and so on, but we cannot force people not to using their cars, and we cannot force them to fuel their cars with specific fuels. So that is the biggest challenge for us, even if we can plan the city in a good way. So what have we been doing? Well, to start with, this is our energy plant. It's situated very close to the city center. It produces heat, power, and cooling to the city. Almost the entire city gets its heat from here, and they generate about 35% of all the power used in the whole municipality. There are also a number of windmills and so on. What we do here, since what they're doing at this energy company is that they are practically boiling water and sending it through pipelines to all the buildings in the city, which means that when we expand the city, because we are a growing city, it means that we want to try to densify the city so it will be easier to connect new buildings to this energy system to keep it tight and not have it too vast or far-stretching energy system. We also have this kind of biomass district heating systems in 4 of the villages outside the city center. So we can do this also in the more rural areas. And they are also seeing now, even if they are using only bioenergy, they still want to see if they can help out with reducing the climate impact even more. So they are doing some research on this carbon capture and storage technology to see if that works here. But that's a quite huge investment, so we will see about that. Another part is, of course, when we are building houses. We have, during the last 20 years or so, we have been quite successful in making new buildings out of wood. That's the main policy for Vekšes, to build in wood, because wood is more climate friendly than concrete and steel. So we're building apartments, we're building sports arenas, universities, university buildings, schools, even the new city hall is in wood. So we try to make new kinds of buildings and new kinds of technologies in wood all the time. And the different building companies in Vekšes and in Sweden, they know this. So they have also become experts in how to build sustainably in wood, and they are happy to try it out in Vekšes to have Vekšes as a showcase, a place where they can show how to do this. So there are lots of different buildings here that you can see and learn from. And when we are doing this kind of buildings, we also involve the university so that they can perform research on these buildings at the same time. And also we combine this with energy efficiency measures. So even if we are building sustainably, we also want them to use as little energy as possible. The main challenge for us is to when it comes to energy is to make the energy efficiency measures in the already existing buildings. But we have had successful projects also there where we have been able to reduce the energy use by 50% with quite small measures, actually. And that is the kind of technology and experiences that we are happy to share, and that can be replicated in all over Europe, basically. And so to our main challenges then, transports. I mentioned that in order for having that we want to build a denser city because that is good for the energy system. It is also good for the transport system. If we build a more denser city, it means that we can have more people living within short distances to the city center and to the workplaces and so on. There is, however, a challenge to make sure that you still have enough green structure, enough nature there. So you have to be very careful when you densify something. It's very easy to go by bike in Växjö. I think that we have about 200 kilometers of cycle paths in the municipality. So that is something that is possible to do almost everywhere in the city, and also to some of the smaller villages. Also, public transport is working well in Växjö. We have just recently invested in electric buses. They started to trafficking the city 1 month ago. And in the regional buses, they are using biogas. So also the buses, the public transport is using renewable fuels or electricity. One interesting thing that we do here is that if we are building a new area, a new residential area, we make sure that the cycle infrastructure and the public transport infrastructure is there already before the first building is there. So we can have bus stops and buses going in this area, even if there's no one living there. But when people are moving there, they already see that it's possible to go by bus here, and it's possible to go by bike here. So that's very good to do to make people used to the sustainable transport modes. Of course, we know that that not everyone can go by bike or public transport, or they can't do that for all their travels. We know, for instance, that 60% of all travels are made by car, and half of them are shorter than 5 kilometers. So there is a huge potential to actually make a shift from car to public transport and bike. But still, there will be car travels. And then, of course, we want them to be as eco-friendly as possible, preferably by electric car. So we have lots of possibilities to charge electric cars all over the city and also in the countryside, because you must think of this all over the municipality. It's not only the city that is installing those chargers, it's also private companies that do this. And now I would say we don't really have to do anything more about this in Växjö, because the companies are doing this, and most people who are buying electric cars are also installing chargers in their homes on their own. What we need to do is, of course, to see how can we plan the city so it will be easier to use public transport and cycling and walking, and a bit more difficult to use car. Not prevent people from using car, but to make it more difficult so they can make this shift. We also believe that if we manage to make this transfer from cars to public transport and bikes, it will be more space for the ones who really need a car, so they won't end up in traffic jams and so on. This was basically what I was going to present. So I will stop my sharing like this, and I hope you see me again. right?
I'd like to talk a little bit more about challenges and obstacles.
Yes.
So if we are talking about the future, how do you see what could be like the biggest challenges for you, for the city, if we are talking about future, for example, like 2030?
The biggest challenge for us when it comes to emissions and investments, it is to make sure that we actually can make a big change in the transport sector. When it comes to CO2 reduction, it's easier to make things when you have the ownership of, for instance, an energy plant. Or we could do quite much when it was about getting new buses that are using renewables or electricity. But we cannot force people to make their shift from cars to other things. But we can make it easier for them. So the big challenge is to involve the citizens to make them want to be part of this. That is the biggest challenge. But we can make sure that the possibilities are there. And then, of course, we are all the time trying to mobilize towards the national government to make sure that they have the right policies on national level to make it easier for us on local level to achieve our climate goals.
So what about your ambition to be like officially the greenest city in Europe?
Yeah, to be or want to be, yeah. Well, we still want to be the greenest city in Europe. However, we are happy for every city that are joining us on the green movement. So as long as we are many cities that are going ahead towards a greener Europe, then we are happy about that. So we don't really see it as a competition, but we want to move further, definitely, and not only in climate, but also other parts like circular economy, nature protection, ecosystem services, consumption patterns, yeah, everything.